All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and a sincere salutation to the Akim pushing this truth and sincerity by Shem qadash. I saw a video from the brother from South Carolina, and he rebuked himself for basically, going at another man, you know, that Jam Master Jay character, and he had a verbally said some things against him that smote him in the mind. So me myself, after last week's camp, I was running back the mental tape, of what was said and done, and I realized that I had said something too that was kind of off. It was worldly, and I said to myself, you know what, that wasn't right, and that could offend, certain brothers who watch, the videos and say, hey, you know what, that brother's he's not walking according to the word. So, my mind smote me, you know. So I want to do this video, you know, because how is it that we can go at people, but we can't go at ourselves? That's not right, you know. That ought not to be. I want to go into the book of Matthew 15:11. It says, "Not that which goeth into the mouth defileth a man, but that which cometh out of the mouth, this defileth the man." You know, because it's what you say, man, that defiles you. You know, and you might think that what you say is right, at that moment, but in reality, when you take a step back and look, it could be off. You know, so we need to watch our speech and our behavior, man, because what we say, it could make us look a certain type of way, and it might be small to you, but it could be very great. This is James 3:5. Even so, the tongue is a little member and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. Okay, and the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. Right, your tongue. You could start a fire with something you say, man. And it's a little member in your body, but but and it boasteth great things, or we say certain things that could be vain, or we say certain things that could be you know evil or wicked, and you might think it's something small, but in reality you could start a fire. So is a tongue among your members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. Right, you could really set things on fire. You could really start some mess. You could really start something by what you say. So we need to take heed on what we say. You know, this is Proverbs 10:9. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. Okay. In the multitude of words there wanteth not sin. Right. So you have to make sure you don't speak too much. It's just too much talk leads to sin. Be sensible and keep your mouth shut. In the New Living Translation. You know, and it is true. The more you talk, the more you have a chance to say something erroneous. So it's best to keep your mouth closed, man. You don't always have to say something. The scriptures say, in the Apocrypha, it says, "Be as one that knoweth, but holdeth, knoweth the answer, but holdeth his peace." You know. This is Proverbs 17:28. Even a fool, when he holdeth his peace, is counted wise, and he that shutteth his lips is esteemed a man of understanding. And that's very true. Apostles always said, hey, brothers, make sure that when you're not reading or when you're not speaking, to be quiet. You don't always have to interject. You don't always have to, bring out your wisdom and what you know. And because, the more you speak, the more you can say something, that is off. And even a fool, when he holds his peace, is counted wise. So you see somebody who acts a fool, but he holds his peace. Sometimes you're like, oh, that dude, he was on point. you know and you have to be on point, man. You want to be spotless. You really want to be blameless. And the same is for a man who always holds his peace. He's seen as someone who is wise and understands how to conduct himself. Okay, this is Proverbs 21 and 23. It says, whoso keepeth his mouth and his tongue keepeth his soul from troubles. You see? So, keep your tongue from saying certain things, and you keep yourself from getting in trouble. So, and I'm basically bringing this out, to, rebuke myself, and Lord willing, it inspires, someone else to watch what they say and what they do. This is, and you have to watch your conduct, man. This is Ephesians 4 and 22, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man, which is corrupt according to the deceitful lusts, right? So a part of coming into this truth, mainly is getting rid of that old man. And that old man, he knew a lot of, different facts and knowledge and different things that he picked up in the world that, is not necessarily need to be said or brought into this is truth, man. The scriptures say the knowledge of sinners is not prudence. So the things that you learned as a sinner in the world, that's not necessarily wisdom. And what you say, that if you say something that you picked out, if you say something from something, if you say, how do I say, if you learn something in the world, you know from wickedness, there's no need to bring it in to this knowledge. And that's a broad range of things that we learned. So you could really just think about all kinds of things that we learned in this world. You don't have to say it. Things that you did in the world and you learned, you don't have to bring it into the truth. You don't have to say it. you know it's not like, you know people get the message in few words. You don't have to say, oh yeah, well, we went in here and this would happen and this that, and you don't have to go into details of wickedness. you know so I'm gonna run this back. Ephesians 4 and 22, that ye put off concerning the former conversation the old man. Right, the former conversation. Now, if you look up this word conversation, it's anastrophe.
Strong's G391. Anastrophe.
Manner of life, conduct, behavior, deportment. Right, the former manner of life, the former conduct, the former behavior. You have to put that off. You don't speak about your former life and the former things you did. Even if it's you think it's edifying to the lesson, or you think that it should be brought out. Nah, man. You don't have to bring out what you did and what you learned from this experience. Because sometimes more than likely that's wickedness, man. All right, which is corrupt. They're according to the deceitful lust. Right, that's corrupt, man. Those things you did, that's corrupt according to whatever lust that you were involved in at that time. So you don't have to bring that up. It says, and be renewed in the spirit of your mind. You see, you have to be renewed in the spirit of your mind. You have to conform your mind to this truth, not stay into that in that worldly mindset. It says, and that ye put on the new man. Right, you have to put on the new man, become the new man, which after the Most High is created in righteousness and true holiness. You see? So you forget about that old man and that old conduct and that old behavior, and quit speaking about things you learned, and put on the new man, which is created in righteousness and true holiness. All right? This is 1 Timothy 4 and 12. It says, let no man despise thy youth, but be thou an example of the believers. So you have to be an example to the believers, man. You can't just portray something on camera and not really be that. You see, it says in word. It's a good word. I want to look, which basically means your speech.
Strong's G 3056. Logos.
Of speech.
Logos.
A word by a living voice embodies a conception or idea. Right, be an example by what? Your words and your ideas. Okay? Discourse, the act of speech, of speaking speech, the faculty of speech, skill and practice in speaking, a kind of style of speaking. Doctrine, teaching, you see that? In doctrine, man, in teaching. Don't bring any worldly things into the teachings, man. That's what I was thinking about. You run back what was said. I kept you like, wait a minute, did I say anything wrong? You always have to check yourself and see if you said it or did anything that was out of, the scriptures, man. This is Papita, an example in the believers in word, in conversation. Conversation, there's that word again. And a stropha.
Strong's G 391. Anastrophe.
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 Right. Be an example to the believers in what? In your speech, in doctrine, and in teaching, in manner of life, conduct, behavior, and deportment, man. So you have to watch what you say and what you do. Okay. Be thou an example of the believers in word, in conversation, in charity, in spirit, in faith, in purity. You see that? Till I come, give attendance to reading, to exhortation, and to doctrine. Okay? So until Yahawashi comes, we have to give attendance to reading, to exhortation, and to doctrine, man. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. It's one thing to go at others, and reprove others through the scriptures, but every now and then you have to reprove yourself. Make sure that you're speaking and behaving according to the word. So, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to say shalom.